If you've ever been to an Apple store, it usually is always packed. I don't know about where you live, but when I was living in America, it's always busy no matter the day of the week. And that's because Apple is a great product. They have excellent hardware, they have excellent software, but third of all, they have excellent customer service.
We love our customers.
You can walk into any Apple iPhone store or Apple store in America, and if you're there to buy a new product, or if you're there to get a product fixed, you're going to be treated like a king or queen. They may even give you a bottle of water. They'll ask you what's wrong, how are you doing? You get better service in an Apple store than you do at most American restaurants. And Americans are pretty good at hospitality. You leave going away from that store usually with a good experience. And you want to basically recommend Apple to everyone you come across. No wonder why Apple is a $1 trillion company. Whenever you spend money with them, you get what you pay for. But oh, I wish political parties were the same. You see, black people have been shopping at a store for the last 50 years. It's just not necessarily Apple. It's called the Democratic store. You walk in, you get bad customer service, things bad happen to you, you get nothing that you asked for, and you get unpleasant experiences year after year after year. And in fact, new customers who don't even pay money come in and get better treatment than you do, and then when you decide that you want to leave, you get called names. And you get called names based on the fact that you're sexist when really the person that's at the store isn't giving you what you deserve for what you're willing to spend with them. This is the dilemma right now in the black male vote. And as we know, there's several swing states out there. There's Pennsylvania, there's Wisconsin, there's Nevada, and there's Arizona. But none of these states are more golden than the state of Georgia. You see, 1 out of every 3 registered voter in Georgia is African American. And a lot of black voters came out last year and flipped the state blue for Biden. But what did they get in return? More migrants. Even the migrant crisis hit Georgia to a certain degree, and things were all bad. People saw inflation rise up many levels, and life for a lot of African American black men didn't get better. And so when today I saw this clip for Ricky Smiley on MSNBC, I was taken aback.
It looks like both for Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris, black men have been stepping up.
Yeah, first of all, good to see both of you. Kevin, you know I love you. Ari, thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
It's really good. I started getting phone calls from Roland Martin when they started doing the Black Men for Harris, just to be a part of that. And it felt like the foundation of them just trying to build up support for Harris because, this country is just as sexist as it is, some of the other issues that the country have. And, I don't have a problem seeing a woman in power as long as her policies align with, with what I have going on and my family and my people. And we know what it was like under Donald Trump because he was president for 4 years. So, I was all in from day one, but I don't understand what's been the issue from other black men and what's been taking so long to get black men to come around, because at the end of the day, your mother's a black woman, your sister's a black woman, and our mother had to lead us to where we are now. If it wasn't for our mothers, Kevin, you know this, we wouldn't be where we are. So it was not an issue.
Now, Ricky, I didn't know you were going to come on live TV and talk about Kevin's mom.
He can do that. He gets a pass.
But you're doing it positively, I guess.
Now, Ricky Smiley is pretending as if he doesn't know what the issues are with black men. To be honest, a lot of men feel very similar to black men, but that's another issue. The reality is that black men have their own specific issues, just like Ricky Smiley said, for wanting to vote for Donald Trump. And here is a guy who voted for Kamala Harris the last election, but has changed his vote over to Trump in Georgia.
But for weeks now, opinion polls have shown that a small but significant number of black voters, and men in particular, who supported Biden back in 2020, plan to cast their ballot this time for Donald Trump.
That includes Daryl Allen, who says life was better under Trump.
Economy, border security, and just taking care of our people, putting America first.
Now, there's a pastor also in Georgia who is trying to get everybody to come out to vote for Kamala Harris.
door knocking in the deep South.
Ma'am, may I ask you something? Have you voted yet?
In southern Georgia, Reverend Ezekiel Hawley is getting out the vote, a right the 83-year-old never takes for granted.
It's very important. Very important.
So this is it here.
His office is lined with newspaper clippings from the early 60s, when white supremacists burned down churches here, where activists were registering black voters.
Dr. King and the nonviolent movement changed the world. We're not going back. We're going forward.
Hawley shares those memories, but he's voting for Harris.
She is capable of leading the country, even though some of the maybe young men have a problem with the leadership of a woman.
He worries sexism is at play and shudders to think that Georgia, the cradle of the civil rights movement, could now cast a deciding vote against a black presidential candidate.
And of course, as you heard, those are some identity politics issues. You know, he's talking about the ideas that when he was young and he saw what happened in the South, and now he's seeing that we have a black person that could be the president, that a lot of these men are not voting because of, you know, these issues to do with sexism and, you know, misogyny and all of that. The reality is that these guys are trying to win based on identity politics because they understand that Democrats have nothing to offer. Let's return back to my Apple analogy. Every year, Apple puts out a new iPhone. iPhone 16, iPhone 17, iPhone 18, you get the drift. Every year, the iPhone must be better than the previous generation if you're gonna waste your money or your time investigating or actually purchasing it. Apple's job is to convince you to buy that phone and to part with your money to buy that phone. They put a lot of work and effort into maintaining the highest quality for their products and services. That includes technical support, that also includes the sales team, it includes the development team, it includes hiring the best skilled people on planet Earth. All of those things are infused in creating the iPhone product. But imagine that the iPhone didn't develop and it didn't give you what you wanted as a customer, and you stopped buying it. And so the iPhone would blame you as a customer, saying, well, the reason why they don't want to buy the phone is because they're broke, or the reason why they don't want to buy this phone is because they're dusty, and not take any accountability that really the company has regressed and is not falling into the favor of their prospective buyers. That's the issue that we get with the Democratic Party, which is entitlement. And see, let's deal with that. A lot of the men that are kind of upset with how things are going in the world are tired of entitlement, especially if it comes from the opposite sex. That's another video in itself. But for a whole political party to be entitled, that doesn't want to give you anything, that doesn't even consider you to be a person of respect, your needs or desires should not be met. And even when you're telling the people what you want, it doesn't matter. And they're still saying like, hey, well, your mom is black and, you know, I don't understand what the problem is. Let's continue to do this shame gate thing. Well, what you're really saying is, listen, we don't have anything to give you because you don't deserve anything. And that's the reason why. So you need to vote anyway and get nothing because you are nothing. That's really what we think about you. You are nothing. We don't feel like you deserve anything. And you shouldn't be anything. And that's just really what it is. You're nothing. You will never be anything. You are nothing, period. That's it. And that's all. Period. You are nothing. Now, why don't they just say that? Because they can't say that, but they still want you to vote. It's almost like taking a chick out to eat and living in the house with her and even marrying her. And, you know, she doesn't want to perform her duties as a wife. She doesn't want to have sex. She doesn't want to listen to you. You're in a loveless relationship, but if you decide that you want to leave, then like she starts crying, like, why are you leaving me? Why are you going to see somebody else? And you tell her like, well, you're not doing anything for me. So, but what did I have to do anything? Like, why are you leaving? You need to stay here. And the reality is that these things are going to change. I don't know if Kamala Harris will win the presidency. I know it's close, but this is something that's inevitable when men, black men in particular, are starting to change their courses and their routes of voting. Guys understand now that, hey, the black male vote is a deciding factor. We didn't know that before as much as we do now. So now black men are going to start to use that to their advantage as a voting bloc. You're going to see black men starting to come out with certain things that at least benefit them. And whatever party doesn't do it, these black men are going to come out and start voicing their opinions. And we've seen black men voicing their opinions more this election cycle than we've ever seen in the past. And that doesn't look good. And furthermore, we also see that a lot of black men just don't care what black women have to say. That's also very bad. Now, this also is very related to the relationship rates and the lack of marriage rates that's going on in the black community. Black men right now feel like their back is against the wall. So, hey, they're gonna drown anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So what else do I have to lose? That's where black men are at right now. And when you get men like that in your community willing to say those things, you don't have very much of a community left. You just have people that live around each other, but you don't have people in the community. And that's exactly what's wrong with black America. We don't have the men that are invested enough or that are motivated enough to want to really build with black women as a whole, or to really build with the children as a whole. You have some, but you have a lot of guys who are just not motivated. And the reason why they're not motivated is because women and men, especially in black America, see things so differently. Now, in white America, that's also happening, but it's not causing so much of a divide when it comes to relationships and families as it is in black America. It is almost certain that you can never find a black woman that's a hardcore Kamala Harris person married to a black man voting for Trump. It might be out there, but largely you would never see anything like that. Those people can't even get along to go out on a date, let alone be married. And so what I'm going to tell you is that all of this shaming that Democrats keep doing, it's only going to piss black men off more. And Ricky Smiley, if Kamala Harris loses, we can thank you. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Shirley Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.